Welcome to the Accessing GovConnectIowa series. This tutorial will walk through the secondary logon creation and management process for other-party administrators. Please note that all data used in this tutorial is fictitious and was created in a test environment, and that the appearance of your pages in this tutorial may look different due to system updates. After you have created your other-party administrator logon and have connected to your accounts, you can log in and add secondary logons. Don't have a username and password yet? Be sure to check out our additional tutorials prior to continuing. To get started, enter your username and password and click Login. I will complete this step now. Once the other-party administrator logs in, they will be met with either their account page or, if they are connected to more than one customer account, with a page to select a specific customer with which to work. I need to provide access to a few staff at my firm who work with some of our customers. I can create secondary logons for these users. Other-party administrators have the ability to add and manage these logons using the Accountant Center. Please note that these logons do not equal third-party authorization. Please see our Adding and Managing Third Parties tutorial for more information. Let's take a look at the Accountant Center. I will click the Accountant Center hyperlink. The Accountant Center has several panels, similar to the I Want To tab, which you can use to manage your account. Within the My Users panel, locate and click the Manage Secondary Logons hyperlink. You can create and manage logons that only have access to customers and accounts that you have access to. These people act on your behalf to perform tasks such as filing returns and making payments for your business or clients. By default, added secondary logons will have access to all accounts to which you have access. However, you may need to limit this access to a certain customer. Limiting this access is as simple as 1, 2, 3. 1. Create your customer groups. You will complete this process by clicking the Customer Groups tab, which I will do in a moment. Once your customer groups are created, you will complete the second step, organizing your customers into your customer group or groups. This action is completed using the Customer tab. Finally, you will complete the third step, creating secondary logons and providing them with rights to your custom customer groups. Let's get started by creating a customer group. I can use one of these two hyperlinks to create my first customer group. I will click the Add a New Customer Group hyperlink to get started. You will then name your customer group and provide a description of the group. I am going to keep my name and description simple, so I will remember what the group is for. Now that I have a name and description, I will click Save to move on. And just like that, my first customer group is created. I need to create one more group. I will go back to my Secondary Logons screen by clicking the Secondary Logons hyperlink. I added a second one as well, so let's scroll down to take a look. Step 1. Check. Now I can move on to Step 2, where I will organize my customers into my customer groups. I will click the Customers tab. All customers to which I have access will show in this list. If my list is very long, I can use this filter bar to narrow my options with keywords. However, I only the two customers. By default, these customers were organized into the custom customer group at first. Let's reorganize these customers into the appropriate customer groups we just created. I will start with the first customer and will click the Custom hyperlink. Here, I can toggle between my customer groups for this customer. I will place this customer in my test group 1. I will click the toggle button and then click Save. Step 2. Check. We are moving right along to Step 3. Now we get to create secondary logons and then provide them with access rights to one of our two customer groups. We will perform this action by clicking the Secondary Logons tab. And then clicking one of these hyperlinks, I will click the Create a New Secondary Logon hyperlink. Prior to creating the secondary logon, it is important that you read and understand these two sections. First, secondary logons are granted other-party account manager access, which means they can manage customers and accounts that they have access to, including filing returns and making payments. They cannot request access to new accounts. Only the other party administrator can perform this action. This is not equal to third-party authorization, but it does allow the logon to complete several actions. See our Adding and Managing Third Parties tutorial for more information. Also, secondary logons can perform work on the authorized customers on your behalf, and you as the other party administrator have the power to limit their customer and account access. However, it is important to note that secondary logons will lose access if you lose access and will have their logons deleted when your logon is deleted. Additionally, it is important to know that you cannot provide secondary logon access to an existing logon. If the individual already has a logon, it is best to either create a new, unique logon for this individual or for the existing logon to request access to the taxpayer accounts. Okay, I will create my first secondary logon for my first teammate. I will start by creating a unique username for this person. The secondary logon information is added, and I have double-checked the information. Double-checking this information is critical because an email will be sent to this user so that they can set up a unique password for this username. I will click Next to manage the access for this secondary logon. As you can see, we have two critical panels where we can manage our secondary logon access. The first is access to customer groups. Again, by default, a secondary logon has access to all customers for which the other party administrator has access. Additionally, any added businesses or account types within a customer group will also be available to the secondary logons with access to that customer group. I will limit this first teammate to Test Group 1 by deselecting the default checkbox and then selecting the Test Group 1 checkbox. Now, if needed, I can further limit this logon's access by account types. I need this teammate to work any tax types created by the business in Test Group 1, so I will move on. I will scroll down by clicking the down arrow. And now I will click Submit to create this secondary logon. I am then sent to this secondary logons page with a notification message that the user has been sent an email with further instructions. It is important that this user immediately access the email and set up their password. The user has 24 hours to complete this action. I will click OK to close the notification message. Here, I can use these hyperlinks to either resent the logon access email or deactivate access for this secondary logon. I will also be able to see any activity completed by this secondary logon, including action items such as filing returns or making payments. Finally, if I need to edit the access types for this logon, I can click the Settings tab. If I need to, for any reason, change the access to customer groups or account types for this logon, I can click the Change hyperlink and make the changes. Okay, I need to add one more secondary logon. I will click the secondary logon's hyperlink to return to the menu. I'll follow those same steps to create one more logon called Test Logon 2, and I will place that logon in the Test Group 2 customer access. This second secondary logon has now been created. The user has set up their account and has completed actions that I, as the other party administrator, can view and manage. To view and manage completed actions of secondary logons, click the username hyperlink. I will click the Test Logon 2 hyperlink. The first thing you might notice is that the options in the top right have changed. As the other party administrator, you can now help this user reset their password or reset their two-step verification, or deactivate their access. You can also view and manage actions such as submitted returns and payments. If the item is a hyperlink, you can view and possibly manage the activity. I will select this first option. This user submitted a sales and use tax return payment on behalf of our customer. I can view the completed steps using the tabs here. I may also be able to manage this submission with hyperlinks in the top right of the screen. For more on the process of making a payment through GovConnectIowa, please see our Make a Payment tutorial. Now, if you choose to deactivate access, In the case of perhaps temporary or seasonal staff, you can later reactivate the secondary logon. Let's take a look at that action. I will select my first secondary logon. I can then select Deactivate Access and click Yes to confirm deactivation, and then click OK. This moves the logon into its own section called Deactivated. Reactivation is easy. Simply click the username hyperlink, and then select Reactivate Access, followed by clicking Yes to confirm this action. The user will receive an email informing them that their access has been reactivated and that they can log in. For more videos and help on how to navigate the GovConnectIowa portals, visit revenue.iowa.gov/GovConnectIowa and our YouTube page. Thanks for watching.